4 easy tips for executive moms. To be honest, these tips are applicable to anybody, but I'm going to talk specific tips for executive moms because these kind of job scenarios you'd need to use your computer, your mouse, etc. But then you can have a listen even if you are not an executive mom. All right. Well, as an executive mom, you're juggling the responsibility of work, family life, and it often leaves very less room for self care, right? But when you have a nagging pain like golfer's elbow, which starts to interfere in your everyday activities, it is crucial to take preventive measures or to manage this condition. To be honest, it is better to, as they say, prevention is better than cure. So basically, it's better to know how to prevent golfer's elbow than to actually end up with golfer's elbow, especially if you have chronic golfer's elbow and you've had it in the past. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about 4 easy tips that can help you prevent golfer's elbow. And to be honest, even if you have golfer's elbow, these tips are going to be helpful for you. All right, so before we get into the topic for today, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Swati. I'm an executive mom power coach. I help moms of younger kids who work in high stress executive jobs to manage their back, neck, and nerve pain despite low energy levels and brain fog. So I do all of this without taking away a big chunk of your time because here we're moms, we're busy people. I just give you simple exercises, easy lifestyle modification, tips, tricks, hacks that have worked for me in my own pain journey and my adrenal fatigue journey, which left me with zero energy and a lot of brain fog, lack of focus, etc. All right, so let's get into the topic for today, which is preventing golfer's elbow, that is medial epicondylitis, and 4 easy tips how you can do so. So, a little bit about golfer's elbow, if you're not aware, it is also known as medial epicondylitis. Basically, it's inflammation and pain in the inner part of your elbow. So, this part of your elbow here, so this is the bony point of the elbow. If you move in, you'll find that there is a bony projection here. If you have pain and inflammation in this area, that is known as golfer's elbow. It can travel down your forearm into your fingers as well. Sometimes when it's chronic or very severe, it can go up into your biceps and into your shoulder area as well. All right, so if you want more details about what is golfer's elbow, you can have a look at my video that I have done recently. It's on YouTube, so you can have a look at it on my channel. And if not, you can just go to YouTube, type my name, Swati Prakash Golfer's Elbow, and a couple of videos will pop up for you. All right, so what is the very first tip? Very first tip is because as executive moms, okay, let me just rewind. As executive moms, we are working mostly on computers. You're using a mouse, a keypad, and you are always staring into that screen. So usually most of us will focus on, where the screen is, the distance from your face, and, what's the position of your neck, etc. Sometimes we forget that we need to actually be mindful of where our arms and elbows are sitting. So if you have one of those adjustable chairs which has the armrest, that's great. But when you're using the mouse or the keypad, you need to make sure that your forearms, or at least the first two-thirds of the forearm, is resting on the table. And on that note, if you are keeping if you have a mouse pad, that's great. But if you have a mouse pad which has a bit of a wrist support, so it just looks like an elevation on the mouse pad itself. Okay, I'll do one thing. The one that I use and I recommend, I will leave the link to that mouse pad in a blog that I've written on the same topic. You'll find the blog in the description of this video. So what happens is when you're holding a mouse, so typically when can't place my mouse here, but suppose I'm holding something, and what automatically happens is your wrist goes up in this position. Now, what is a neutral position for your wrist? So this is neutral for the wrist. When you look at it from the side, basically, if you draw a line from the point of your elbow down the midline of your forearm and into your little finger, this is a straight line. So my wrist is not up, my wrist is not down. It's in a neutral position. If you look at my hand from the back of my forearm and hand, so it's same thing. You draw a line from the point of your elbow straight down to the middle of your wrist and to your middle finger. So your wrist is not bent to either side. So basically, it's not up or down, and it's not bent forwards or backwards or left or right. So this is a neutral position of the wrist. Now, whenever you're holding something, so this is not a mouse, of course, but whenever you're holding something, this happens and your wrist is always bent up. Now, if you have one of those mouse pads which has the wrist support, what that does is it sits in the crease of your wrist here and it helps you to maintain a neutral position of the wrist while you're holding that mouse pad. Now, if you want a quick hack for this, you can take a face towel, roll it up, and put it on the desk or on the mouse pad, and that can work for you. It does look a little untidy when you're at work, so you probably want to buy one of those. You can easily get those off Amazon or any website. All right, so that was one thing. And another thing is you can use an ergonomic mouse. So ergonomic mouse are basically, you are holding them, you're putting your your forearm and wrist in this sideways position, and you're holding it in your hand. So you can still stay in neutral. Do you see how my wrist is neutral here? You can still stay in neutral while you are clicking with your fingers. So your right click and left click on the mouse is done with the fingertips. So all you're doing is the finger movement. Now, when you're typing, that is the other point that I wanted to come to. When you're typing, again, you can use that wrist support. So this is like an elongated, like a elongated towel roll. So you could put that on the desk, or you could buy one of those wrist supports for typing, wherein when you're typing, you are not in this position, but you're in a neutral position, and all you're doing is the finger movement. Otherwise, we usually over here, and that is a lot of stress on the wrist and fingers, leading to an accentuation or the beginning of golfer's elbow. All right, so moving on to the next point, that is take regular breaks. I know this is been said so often that it is mostly white noise. However, it is very, very important because golfer's elbow is a repetitive strain injury. In simple word, what that means is that when you repeatedly do an action and that stresses the tendons that are running from your fingers and attaching to the inner part of your elbow here, that can lead to golfer's elbow. So some, like we discussed, repetitive typing, repetitive mouse movements, or if say you are a mom, you're repeatedly lifting weights or doing some work with your kids, or you're driving and your wrist is not positioned in neutral, it can lead to golfer's elbow. Of course, this is also a cause for tennis elbow, but that's a topic for another day. That basically is inflammation on the outer aspect of your elbow. All right, so what you can do is some simple movements, which are, you can sit at the desk. They're called desk-based movements or desk-based exercises. So you can do something simple as making a fist, moving your wrist up and down, side. Okay, let me show you this way, side to side. And then you can make a fist, make a tight fist. You can put your thumb in or out, whatever works for you, and then extend your fingers out. So you're not doing this, you're stretching them out. So you're doing this movement. You could do just about 5 seconds or 5 repetitions of each of these movements. This will help to de-stress your wrist and your fingers and hands, and that of course will help you to prevent golfer's elbow, or if you have golfer's elbow, that'll help to prevent an exaggeration of the pain. There are a couple of other desk-based exercises that you can do, which of course involves your elbow and shoulder and your neck as well, because these are all linked. Excuse me, these are all linked together. You don't just treat the wrist and elbow and leave the rest of the biomechanical chain alone, right? So you got to treat the whole thing. So what happens is these desk-based exercises are, there's a series of exercises that I have done. If you're interested in getting these exercises, I have left the link again in the blog, and the link to the blog is in the description of this video. So these exercises can be done in under 2 to 3 minutes, and you can do them every hour or as per your convenience, really. Okay, moving on quickly is proper lifting techniques. When you're lifting, say, your children, your grocery bags, your laptop bag, any kind of weights, probably at the gym, again, these proper technique has to be used. Again, remember, your wrist has to be neutral, not bent from side to side. From the side, it has to be neutral, not bent up or down. So be very mindful of this, especially if you go to the gym and you're doing weights, so targeted exercises, and especially if you are in that phase where you have golfer's elbow and you're still trying to work out at the gym, make sure that you are following this neutral position of the wrist, because many people say, hey, I did not do any wrist exercises, I was working on my upper back or another body part, and I came back with a very sore wrist, so probably I should just stop exercising. Probably, but that's not the case every time. So, this is a very simple yet a very helpful tip for you. So, do listen to your body. That was the last one. And it is pay attention to any pains or discomforts in your wrist, hand, elbow, and forearm. Now, if you feel soreness at the end of the day, try and apply a cold pack. This will ease the inflammation in the area. You can apply the cold pack on the inner part of the elbow, but if you have a lot of soreness along the muscle and tendons along the hands, wrist, etc., you can apply it there as well. But do not forget to put ice on the inner elbow. That is where the root cause of your golfer's elbow is. Now, ignoring the pain, of course, we as moms, we tend to do that. I'm also guilty of that. But if you ignore the pain, and you continue with the exercises or the activities, it can worsen the condition. It can become chronic, and that, of course, is another challenge that you have to face. So try these 4 tips and let me go. Let me know how you go. There are a couple of other tips that I wanted to talk about. So because we don't have so much time, I will leave them in the blog. And yeah, and also in the blog you'll find a free guide, which is what is the source of your elbow pain. If you have elbow pain and you're not sure where it's coming from, sure, you can have a sorry, I just got distracted with something. So you can have a look at that free guide. It's in the blog itself. Alrighty, if you have any questions, any comments for me, do let me know and I'll be happy to help you out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.